I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm willing to work as hard as I can.
There is no past, there's no future, there's just this moment right here.
If I did that, if I can get through that, like, come at me.
Changing how I saw myself, like as a man, not just as an athlete.
It's okay that I struggle. It's okay. That's part of the deal. It's how I respond to it.
Welcome to another episode of the Limitless Athlete podcast. My name is Tom Foxley, the founder and coach at Mindset Rx'd. On today's show, I'm going to be teaching you how Björn, one of our athletes, completely transformed his mindset. Björn did this in the quickest time that one of the quickest times that I've ever seen such dramatic shifts in a mindset. The way he did that, he was exceptional at really looking at these themes throughout his life. It wasn't just focus on only his training. He saw this as a pattern because our mindset is a pattern that we replicate in all different areas of life. So he looked at this theme and saw how his in gym or in competition performance was completely affected by things that happen outside the gym and vice versa. So that's the first thing you can take from this upcoming interview and case study. The second thing is he had this exceptional balance in his character that he was trying to train. It wasn't just focused on this very kind of like masculine archetype of pushing and forcing, but also bringing in the archetypical feminine too, like self-compassion was in there, patience, wisdom was in there as well. So he worked on this from a really balanced perspective, and that's one of the reasons he got such massive mindset gains. But in this case study that we're going to be bringing you, Björn really goes into some depth of how he brought his mindset from a place where he was really struggling in a competitive environment to completely crushing those comps. And that's what I want you to listen out for, because we're going to describe the framework, the most effective tools that he used, and essentially how you can apply that to your own mindset training so you can understand that system and that process. I hope you enjoy the show. If you have any questions about how this would apply to you, then reach out to me on my Instagram, which is at Tom Foxley, TomFoxley, or find us as a business on Instagram, which is Mindset Rx'd, which is Mindset RxD. So let's get on with the show. Björn, welcome to the podcast. It feels funny to be introing you like that after getting to know you so well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So let's start off with a really quick intro to you. Who are you? Tell us about your training level, your background, your wider life, like your job.
Yeah, that's cool. So, like I said, my name is Björn. I'm from Germany, Essen. So it's like western part of Germany. And I work as a CrossFit coach, personal trainer, physical therapist. So I started with my own CrossFit box. It's now 11 years ago. And even before that, I worked as a physical therapist and personal trainer. And so that's what my normal working life looks like. And when I started my own CrossFit journey as a coach, I also started as an athlete. So my first competition when CrossFit was really growing more into a sport from a training methodology was, I'm not really sure, but I guess it was the first time I was in England, actually, at the London Throwdown. But don't ask me, I think it was around 2012 to 2013. And then I competed the next couple of years, the CrossFit Open and on local throwdowns. And then when more throwdowns showed up on the page in Europe, I competed even there. Got a little older, so I'm now 40, or will be 42 years old at the beginning of December. So now, since a couple of years, I work out or practice for competitions as a masters athlete. And most recent one was the Masters Throwdown, Masters and Teens Throwdown in the Netherlands. And before that, it was the EF3 World Championships in Egypt as a masters athlete. So yeah, full-time sports, work life as a coach, and a father of an 8-year-old. And besides that, like training level, I would say pretty seriously. Yeah, on a national and international level as much as possible.
Very good athlete, with lots of potential and lots of achievement, but also like a balance in life, right? You kind of, you're not just in this to be the best athlete possible. Like you said, you're a father, you own a box, like you got lots of other commitments. So that's obviously important to you, as well. You're also forgetting your world record for being the nicest man I know as well, because you're one of the easiest guys to chat with that there is.
I try.
So let's try and find your mindset where it was before we started working together. So what problems were you facing before we worked together?
I think the biggest problem was really that especially training wasn't fun anymore. I think that was like the biggest problem, and I didn't really know why that was. So like I said, I did sports like my entire life. When I was younger, I did like playing basketball for a lot of years on a pretty high level also. And so training normally comes natural to me, and especially with CrossFit, because you will always have things where you really can like focus on weightlifting or gymnastics. So normally, if I had like a little bit of a down training wise, I would just concentrate on other areas in CrossFit. But then, like I would even say, like 1.5 years ago, it was really more that I trained because I'm absolutely used to it, and not really because I enjoyed it that much anymore. And so I couldn't really figure out why. So not only that I didn't have fun anymore, like my progress stagnated. So I really had the feeling I didn't get better anymore after workouts. Was always like, okay, why didn't I push more? Even as in the workout, I got the feeling I pushed enough, but after that, I wasn't really satisfied after training anymore. And yeah, that was really bringing me down after training. And that was like the main reason why I did a little bit of research like on mindset training, and yeah, find your Instagram page, and what was, I think, which opened my eyes from the first moment. I didn't know really what post it was, but it was like something around that mental toughness does not mean that you just push harder than but that there was a lot more into it. And yeah, that totally connected with me from the first moment, and that was the reason why I reached out to you, and so we got our first call into.
Yeah, when was that? Like 3 and a bit months ago, something like that.
I would say so. Yeah, it was like when actually when I was were on my holidays. So yeah, I mean something like July, August, something.
Yeah,
like that. Yes,
yeah, I think so. Yeah, somewhere around there. So, like you found the classic 3-part problem that an athlete at your level seems to find, which is lack of fun, the stagnation that results from that in terms of progress moving forwards, and then kind of a frustration and an annoyance of like, oh man, I'm still here. I can't get past this. Why can't I find the fun? So where was that taking you? What was the path that you could see yourself heading down at that point?
That's easy and difficult at the same time, because I would say like athlete wise, I was really like thinking about quitting competitions. So I was already on that road before the German Federation of the Bundesverband of Functional Fitness like reached out to me for the EF3 Masters World Cup. And before that, I already was on the side that I didn't want to compete anymore. And but that would be one part. But I was really afraid that like didn't like to work out anymore would maybe lead to that I didn't like to coach anymore. And that was like the part where I was heading, where even like my job and my personal life wasn't fun anymore. Like, or more my job and my hobby and my really my passion.
Yeah, it's a really tough one when we when so much of identity is wrapped up, and not necessarily wrapped up, but so much of what we enjoy in life has been taken away from us. And like there's problems with having too much of identity wrapped up in performance and outcome and enjoyment, but like it's important to us at the end of the day, and we don't want to give that thing up, and you'd lose a valuable part of your life if you did that.
Especially if you're like used to having your training like as an outlet of stress and stuff like this. And I was really like on a point where training was stress and not something that I enjoyed and would like relieve stress. So it was an even bigger stress on my life. And I felt that like on a personal level, training wise, yeah, sure. Even like on the business side, that I wasn't like enjoying coaching that much anymore. I was always like stressed out at home with my family. So yeah, I would say that that all boiled over to like other parts of my life. Yeah.
Do you have any hesitations, not just about like working with us, but did you have any hesitations about mindset work in general?
Not really, I guess, because like I'm a coach myself, and I'm like from the first moment I started like with physical therapy and like training people in global gyms and stuff like this. I was always open like to all kinds of training philosophies, and didn't really had like one thing where I thought, okay, that's like the real deal, and all other stuff is like nonsense. But I hadn't really touched or didn't get in touch before starting with you with mindset training. So I was reading a little bit about it, and I thought it was like a path that was very, very interesting, but that didn't play a big part in most people's life. And so I was really curious to learn more about it. But more curious than that I was thinking, oh, is that right for me? Was just interested in learning more about that kind of training.
Cool. And then you found us through an Instagram post. I think we jumped on a call pretty soon after that. And then you opted in to go for kind of our bespoke coaching package. So you and I getting on a call once a week when our calendars align and when I don't have to take the dogs to the vets. We get on a call once a week, and we give you daily programming pretty much, and daily training for like focuses in your actual training sessions. But we started all that with a testing phase, right? Do you remember back to the testing phase and what that was like for you? Like, what was your experience like of going through the first 2 weeks?
That was pretty cool and pretty tough at the same time, because it was totally different from what I was used to training wise. So it was a lot like really thinking about training and thinking about my emotions during training and what I tell myself while training, and there wasn't something that I hadn't done before, and so it was a little bit overwhelming on a good side, I would say, because especially in the first weeks, I learned so much about myself and what I was telling myself during training, and which I didn't really notice like all the weeks and months before, because it was just like just my everyday training without noticing things. And it was a lot of writing. So like writing down things post-workout, pre-workout, and that was really intense, but really cool, because even I would say like in the first couple of weeks I learned so much about myself as an athlete, and how I manipulate myself like in a bad way when it was coming to training. And so I really enjoyed it, but it was tough at the same time.
Okay, so we did a quick testing phase. It really is uncomfortable in that testing phase when you're like, oh, this is how I'm talking to myself, and you know that you're talking to yourself like that, and you know you're treating yourself like that. But when it goes down on paper, it becomes a little bit more real.
More real, absolutely. So before that, it was like more, you notice that sometimes, but I'm not a big writing guy normally. So now I'm really enjoying it, and now I feel like that's like the part of training which brings the most positive differences to my daily training. But before that, I was like really okay. I even felt, I wouldn't say it felt stupid, but it was like So, oh, okay, that's what I'm telling myself every day. And then it really becomes real. And if you have it written down, you can see it again the next day when you're writing other stuff. And so it's like a reminder to yourself, which is a good thing because you want to work on that stuff, and change the narration you tell yourself every day. And but yeah, at first was really like a lot of thinking about myself, my past, my not only, which I think the biggest difference, or the aspect I didn't see coming when starting working with you, that it would be so much about like my normal life besides training. So really like business side and family life and stuff like this, and how all this like goes hand in hand together. And that was really eye opening in the testing phase.
Yeah. And the reason why we do that, and you'll obviously understand more of this now, is because when we overemphasize one area of our life, it becomes kind of obsessive. And then it's like if all the importance is on training and training's not going well, then our mindset really suffers. But if we can balance that out, find the wins, so we kind of free ourselves up to perform our best in training. And if we've kind of got an equal balanced life, it gives us this opportunity to really lean into discomfort and not place so much results, and then not be so rigid in our training. And then that creates this kind of freedom that you're finding to perform. So we've done loads of stuff. We've after that testing phase, we've created a vision for you. We've created goals. We've worked on character skill training in training sessions. We've built positivity with like AMWAPs. Obviously, been getting on a call on a weekly basis with us. What else have we done? Value work. We've done bound nature and free nature. Like we've done all this stuff, and it's been quite kind of obviously a customized process to you, but quite systemized. What do you think has been most beneficial to your training and to your mindset?
That's a difficult question, because I would say like every part of it, because it's really like not one thing which I would like point out, because it really changes. So I think when I start like concentrating more in one area, it even becomes more important for my training, because I feel a big difference there. And which helped me a lot on my competition. So when we want to get one thing out, because like I placed like second overall at the Masters Team Throwdown, and before that it was the first time visualization comes up in my programming, and that was pretty cool, because like I did it before every workout, and that made the biggest difference I've ever had in a competition, because I was so like focused on myself, and I really knew how to approach every workout, that it was the first time in my competitive CrossFit career that I wasn't stressed about what other people were doing in my heat or stuff like this. So I would say like in a competition environment, like the visualization and the like the not really outcome orientated kind of thing or thinking. So more like process orientated. Okay, what can I do in that workout? Like how I want to approach it, and like one like performance based goal I want to have, that helped like a lot in a competition. In my normal training, I would say, it's really difficult. I would say like the pre and post session notes I have to do, or I can do. That's like which helped me the most, being like aware of what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. So that I since starting that, I haven't had a session where I would say it was a lost one, because like every day before starting the session, I write down what I want to do, like the character skill I want to show, and at what point in the training I want to show that. And that helped really like to concentrate on the daily basis. But when I would like turn that over like to my personal growth, like as a person, I would even say like the value work, and really thinking about what character skills I want to display on a daily basis, because that was something I haven't ever thought about. And to really feel that, you maybe you don't even know what character skills you want to show to your son and to the world. That was really, really difficult at first.
Actually, this is an interesting question. Why did you decide to work with us? or with me personally?
Why I wanted to work with you?
Yeah, like, or why us in particular?
I would say there were like a couple of reasons. The first was that I was really thinking that like mindset coaching was like, or could be, eventually be the missing piece to my training. And then I was really like looking on a couple of different pages who like offer mindset coaching. And I think the reason why I was, you were like the only guy I was sending mail out, because like everything you say in your post just resonated with me. So it was really like that I got the feeling that, okay, this guy can really help me with, getting to know me better as an athlete, and maybe change the way I approach training, and lead me back to that I really enjoy training. So I would say like that from like I watched like or like talk, or not really talk, but researched like to 4 or 5 companies that offer mindset training, but you were the only one where it really resonates to me what you guys were doing.
Interesting. Yeah, I've never asked you that before, and I thought it'd be
No,
useful for me.
About that, so really like it wasn't really. It was really weird, because you were, were watching a couple posts, and I think we got like on a call like 1 week later. So I reached out to you immediately, and then we scheduled like a call like 1 week later, and after like I think we talked about, what was it, like 30 to 60 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, so I think it's like 45 to an hour, something like that.
Yeah, and after that, for me, it was like totally clear. Okay, we will do that for at least 6 months.
Sweet. So let's get to the fun stuff. Like you got some of the quickest results that I've ever seen in mindset training. You put so much work in, and it's very like, people usually get to that point, but they don't. I think it was like 4 or 5, maybe 6 weeks since starting that you entered that competition, and you just absolutely crushed it. But what changes have you seen in both your mindset and in training competition?
I would say like the biggest difference was that I was trusting myself. I wouldn't even say again. So I was trusting myself for the first time doing CrossFit. Before that, it was always like when I was competing, like when I started, I was always like one of the older guys. So it was always that I have like an excuse. So yeah, okay, it's okay to finish. Like I often qualified like for final events on throwdowns, but then I was like an afterthought. So maybe like finish second to last, or last 5, something like that. For me, it was always like that. I was telling myself, okay, it's okay to be here because everyone is younger and they should be fitter than you. Even when in training, I felt I could do much more than I often showed in competition. And after I started working with you, it was pretty, like you said, like maybe a couple of weeks that totally shifted from, okay, it's normal that other guys beat me in a competition, to the mindset change that now I'm thinking, it's okay, why not me? So I don't train. I guess I don't train less than the other guys. I don't think like I know that I won't win every event, but it was the first time that I was thinking, okay, but I can. And so it was like at that competition, it was like 6 events for everybody, and I won 2 of them. So my 2 ever event wins in any competition. And I got second on the lifting event, which normally was like one of my, I would say, biggest flaws. So that I'm not really strong compared to the field. But it was the first time I hit like an all-time snatch competition PR. So that it was the first time I was really performing to my full potential. And maybe on some kind of days, that is even enough to go like second place on an event, which is normally not my sweet spot. And I finished like second overall. I had 1 workout where I finished outside the top 5. So I got like 2 first places, 1 second place, 1 third, and 1 fifth. And 1 was like 14th. And that was like one of a running event, which normally is something where I even tell myself, yeah, I'm not good at running. And even that changed. So I run a lot in training right now, and I really enjoy it because it's more like, okay, so let's try to get a little bit faster here, and let's see how far we can go. If I don't think I'm not a good runner, but the other way around is, okay, maybe I will be a good runner if I really put my mind into it and enjoy running a little bit more than I did before. And yeah, I would say that's like the biggest changes in my mindset, that I really trust myself, I trust my abilities, and I know that my placing didn't define me as an athlete or as a person, but that maybe that was something that was holding me back, that I was always like played safe, and now I really take risks in training and in competition.
Isn't that funny how like when you take the placing out of the equation, when it becomes less important,
Absolutely,
you do better and you move toward it. One of the things that you've done so well, and that I have to congratulate you on, and we're only halfway through the 3 months, or just over halfway through the 6 months, sorry, is you've been so curious about your potential, and you've always been second guessing the story that you're telling yourself, like, oh, yeah, maybe I'm good enough, like maybe I can do this, like maybe that story that I'm telling myself is just an old pattern. And you've been really good at being curious with that. And I think we spoke about 3 things right at the beginning of this, like a lack of fun, progress stagnated at the beginning, and a kind of frustration and a negativity around that. What's happened to those 3 things since you've in the last 3 months?
Oh, it's such a difference, because it's like, I really, even like, I mean, as an athlete, you always have days, especially like with working with the kids. It's like, it's not that I always go up and think, oh yeah, now I'm happy to train 2 or 3 hours again. But I think the biggest difference is that even on that days, I know that it's just something that has to do with other things, instead of not really enjoying training anymore. And you helped me a lot with things like, we didn't even touch that, but like after the training phase was like, about these like things where we worked on, or which I had to do in the testing phase. When did you get sunlight first, in the morning, or natural light? So now it's like when I feel, okay, maybe today is not the best day to work out, I get my coffee, get outside for 10 minutes, and even that is enough to like fire me up for the day. I don't even know why, because like it's just like oxygen. But it's it clears your mind on a way I didn't think about it would be. And from that point on, when I go to the gym, I enjoy coaching more, and I enjoy my training so much more again. So it's really just fun. And even like the workouts where, like, even before part or even before I was in a situation where training wasn't fun anymore, I had like workouts I really didn't like. So I'm not like a running guy or rowing guy, or I used to not be one of those guys. I really enjoy even the things I'm maybe not as good as I want to be right now. Because I know I have so much potential and really enjoy pushing the limits. And so every day it's really fun in the gym.
Perfect. So things are fun again. Training is fun. You're enjoying it. It's like that frustration is gone, and you're making progress and performing as well as you can do. I'd say that would win.
And I've like compliment you on this, because I think like that's like the biggest difference is that like with a story you tell yourself, that was something. So you said I picked that up pretty quickly, but I think it's because you can explain it so good, and then you think about it as a person, as an athlete, and we talked about that. It was even maybe like even when I was a child or a younger version of myself, everybody was telling you can't do this or you can't do that, and you believe those things, and you really helped me a lot, especially in the first couple of weeks, and now even more. But now we get deeper into this stuff, and I think that was like the part why I picked that up so quickly, because you push the right buttons and have a really good way to explain, or not really explain, but try to push buttons that I got it myself. Why certain things I was telling myself. So it's pretty cool.
Nice. Well, thank you very much, man. I appreciate the compliment. As a way to wrap things up, what words of advice would you give to someone who is currently in the position that you were? And like, firstly, what would you say to them? What would, like, if someone was like back in your shoes, then they are, they're not having the fun, their progress is stagnated, they're getting a bit frustrated about that. Like, what would you say to them?
I would really say them they should give you a call and just talk to you. Like really get like an initial call, because I think after that, I don't think like mindset training is for everybody, because like I don't think anything is for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But I think everybody should try it, because I even like have a couple of clients, physical therapy clients, where I suggested they should try like with mindset training, because it makes such a big difference to me. And in my opinion, like it's so worth it. And when you really lose fun on the things you love the most and you're so passionate about in life, I think that's a really scary thought. So anything you can do to get out of that slump, you should consider that. And like, we talked about that. I wasn't like even thinking about what it would cost or whatsoever, because I mean, sure, you have to talk about that. But before, so I often talk with clients about, okay, it's expensive or not. And I say, okay, expensive means you didn't get what you want for your money or what you think you should get. So maybe it's a lot of money to one person. I would say like for me, it was really a financial commitment, but something like after the first call, I knew it would pay so much dividends down the way. And even like after the first 2 months. So I would really tell anybody and everybody, they should try it, schedule a call with you and see how mindset training or if mindset training, especially working with you, because I think like coaching is so much about like person to person. And if it clicks, like with, I would say with us too, like after the initial call, I think then it's a no-brainer. But I would like get on the call, and just talk to you, because that opens up a lot of doors already in your mind.
Absolutely. Like I appreciate the compliments again and the recommendation. It wasn't intended to be a like recommendation to us, but there's some really there's some great stuff in there as well that's super useful. Like people like find a coach that you get along with. I think that's really important, like that you trust and that you enjoy speaking to. That's a good piece. And yeah, and diving in and taking some action. There's consequences to everything. There's consequences to obviously it's not a cheap process because it's customized and it's effective. But also there's consequences to inaction too, and staying the same. And it's a choice which consequences you're going to choose.
Absolutely. And I think like, because I've taken so much more out of it than like we talked about that, a couple of minutes ago, like it isn't only affecting like your training life, but in my case, like my personal life. So yeah, I feel like I'm a much better father because of it, and a much better partner and coach, because you take so much out of it, knowing yourself better. And yeah, so it's like really for me it was a no-brainer and a decision I would make on a second again. So really happy with that, and yeah, really looking forward to working with you longer.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. Like, we've got an exciting few more months ahead at least, so I'm stoked about that. But only just started. That's the thing. There's layers to this, and there's so much more growthy.
Yeah, that's so cool to think about that when you think you train like your whole life, but have started this part of training like only a couple months ago. It's really exciting.
Exactly right. All right, dude. I'm gonna have to get on, but I will speak to you very soon. And thank you again for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and yeah, looking forward to our next call.